If your high notes feel very hard, very forced, very stressful, you're not alone, but it's also not how things are supposed to be. Stick around, I'll show you how to make your high notes feel much easier and much more effortless when you play. Let's get started. A lot of people think high notes require a lot more effort and a lot more air, and when you do things the right way, that is not the case. How do we make our high notes feel easier? The number one issue that I see is overblowing and overplaying. People try to use a lot more air instead of faster air to hit high notes. When you overblow, everything tightens up and it's actually much harder to play the note. High notes do not actually take a lot of air. They take a lot less air than the low notes, the big, broad low notes that you play on trumpet. That's a big column of air that's moving through the trumpet. With high notes, it's a much smaller column of air. It's moving very fast. For high notes, you need efficient air. A lot of people lock themselves into one embouchure setting, but even making small tweaks or adjustments could make things a whole lot easier. While working with small tweaks to your embouchure and your aperture with high notes, if you find a setting that feels like it works a little bit better, spend a little more time there. See if it can be a part of your system that you can change a little bit when you go into the up register, especially for lead playing, when you need to actually put a little bit more air behind the embouchure and the aperture that you've created. Think about it like this. When we minimize some type of resistance that helps us get to a specific goal, that is a product of efficiency, right? That's being efficient. So if there's an embouchure setting that you find that makes the same output of whatever notes you're used to playing feel easier, that's something you should spend a little bit more time on, okay? Because you're moving closer to efficiency and using less effort to play the same upper register lines. An exercise I do with my students, and this is how I believe embouchures can be formed to play in the upper register, is to simply, the first thing we do in every session is to just take your mouthpiece and to blow the most relaxed air that you can into the mouthpiece, and it'll create that comfortable buzz. It doesn't really matter what pitch it is. Let's say that that's our relaxed pitch. I take the tongue out. You don't even tongue that note because this takes any type of, any pressure, any type of additional things that could be working to create that note for us. So it's just a relaxed breath and a relaxed, you're blowing out the air. Does not matter what pitch it is, as long as it's super open, super comfortable, super relaxed. Now you take that same setting that you just did, right? And you go ahead and go from an ah or an o, whatever, that was for you. You go ahead and switch to an E, right? So you say E, the jaw comes up, the teeth come closer together. The ends of my tongue, right? So if your tongue's like this, mine goes like this to cup into my top teeth here. It creates a very small column for the air to travel through, and of course the aperture gets a little bit smaller. And we do something called roller coasters. So you would start a high buzz and you'd go to a low buzz, and then you'd end up on that high buzz again. And the goal, the main thing about this exercise is focusing on the feel of this roller coaster, the feel of this buzz, okay? Because you want it to feel the same as the note you just played. Right? That's what you want. So now you take that same everything and you go E, A, E, right? Or E, O, E, and you do a roller coaster from high to low to high like this. And the main goal, what I watch for very carefully is when people go from the low to high, right? To make sure that the only change that I see is in their embouchure and in the settings here. Nothing in their body language tells me that they're playing higher, because it's one relaxed in breath and one relaxed out breath. Okay, there's no stress or tension added. So then when you understand that high note setting, I literally play all of my high notes. Like for me, that high buzz is that pitch, right? That's what that is for me, right? And that's me giving zero effort into the trumpet. right? That's very, very little air that's coming out through the horn, okay? So once you've developed this, once you understand that concept very clearly, then we spend time on those notes and we open them up. Right? And to be able to open up that note, that does require, you do have to engage more muscles in your embouchure to be able to support the bigger column of air that's coming through. But I say bigger, and it's relative to the air that's in the low register, because that's a big column of air that's going through, and there's a lot of it. With the high notes, it's just fast, efficient air. So when I squeak these high notes, that's just me training my embouchure and my body to how things are supposed to feel. Okay, so the number one way to make high notes feel easier is to learn the aperture and the embouchure setting to make squeaks feel super easy for you, right? And to be able to hold them. It doesn't even matter if it's, a lower note, but what you want to do is do that mouthpiece exercise. Just try to do that roller coaster. Try to get that relaxed flow of air through the mouthpiece. And then when you go up, only try to change things here and not in your body, okay? And then put some air behind it. So that's one exercise you can try. Another big problem is the mental barrier problem, and that's when people see high notes and they immediately tense up. High notes should feel like a continuation from your middle register up into the upper register. They shouldn't feel like you have to change everything about your body language and, press the horn into your face just to make them happen. Another big point is pressure, mouthpiece pressure, pulling the horn into your face. If you use a lot of pressure when you play, high notes will never feel easy. You might be able to hit some high notes with a lot of pressure, but you won't be able to control them and you won't be able to last in the upper register. If you want easier high notes, you have to focus on faster air, not more air. You have to focus on playing high notes quietly with minimal effort. You have to focus on staying relaxed. You have to focus on messing with your embouchure and aperture a tiny bit to find maybe a setting that's a little bit more efficient and helps you hit high notes much easier, okay? And you have to not think of high notes as something separate from your other trumpet playing in the middle to low register. This is the exact approach I use when I help players develop their upper register, and I actually have a 27-page upper register blueprint, which is everything you need to be able to play high notes much easier. And it's a step-by-step system. It's a path to get you there, and it's available down below in the description. Quite a few people have got it. I think over 60 people have got it, and I receive emails almost every day saying at this point now how it's helped them develop their upper register and make high notes much easier. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in a system, check it out in the description. I also have a summer trumpet program. I had one open that was one-on-one that's now full. I'm not going to take on any more people, but I have summer trumpet group sessions, and that's available to you if you want more direct help down below in the description. Check it out, and I look forward to working with you. If it feels easier, you're probably doing it right. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy this type of content, trumpet education, especially for upper register, do consider subscribing, and many more videos like this to come. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see some of you on the blueprint and some of you in my summer trumpet program. So we'll see you there, and God bless you all, and have a great day.